My daughter Rachel was 3 years old and woke up one morning and was very lethargic and had a hard time breathing. So I took her to the doctor, and her doctor said, I'm not sure what it is. It could be asthma. Why don't you take her to Loma Linda? So I took her over to the emergency room, and they took her right in, and she's very lethargic. It's almost, I had to carry her in my arms, couldn't walk. And they put her down in this examination room, and the doctors are looking at her, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. And a doctor walked by, and the attending physician said, come here and get close to this girl. So the doctor leaned down and said, ooh, ketos. And I didn't know what that meant, and he looked at me and he said, your daughter's a type 1 diabetic. Sorry. And he said, they have a certain smell on their breath. When they're spilling ketones, it's a real sweet thing. So they immediately admitted her in the hospital. And that was the first time I ever heard of type 1 diabetes. She was 3. Well, I didn't understand it at all. I didn't know what it meant. We have heard of people with type 2 diabetes, and you can control it with diet and exercise, but type 1 is very different. If they don't get their shot, they're going to die. If you don't control their insulin, they're going to go into a coma and they're going to die. You need to count carbs, you need to look at sugars, and there's all these things you need to look at all the time. And I realized I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't get it, and then it occurred to me, we have to do this her entire life. And at 3, you have to do that for them, and as they get older, you're trying to teach them how to do it, and sometimes you're successful and sometimes you're not, but our entire life changed that minute, because we could never do anything spontaneously again. We could never leave the house without a snack. We could never leave without her insulin. We could never just jump in the car and go somewhere, because we always had to be prepared in case she went low. I didn't know where to turn when she first got diagnosed, and Laura Gonzalez, one of the directors we used to have here, was on the board of JDRF, and her nephew was a type 1 diabetic, and she said, call these people, call JDRF, talk to them, meet with them, they will answer your questions, they will help you, and they did. They were warm and welcoming, and they answered everything I asked, and if I wanted it, they had other families meet with me, support me, cry with me, laugh with me, stomp my feet. They helped me deal with it, because nobody else in my life had that going on. My husband and I, we didn't know where to go, we didn't know where to turn, we didn't know how to manage the disease and how it would affect her and the rest of the family. So JDRF stepped up and did that for us. It would make a difference in my daughter's life for the rest of her life. She is managing her diabetes, but the fact that she still has to test her blood sugars and still get her insulin, I'm afraid her life's going to be cut off by 30, 40 years because of her diabetes. Will she be able to get married and have kids? I hope so. You know, will she lose body parts as she gets older? Oh, I hope not. A cure would make a difference for her. But when you look at the millions of kids around the world that have got type 1 diabetes, it would change all of them. It would make a world of difference for every one of them. So, oh yeah, it's something I pray for regularly, daily. It's like, yeah.